Hey guys, Brandon and Tim here from the Hindle team. This week for our Seller Saturdays, we're actually going to be talking about how to have the perfect open house. So when you're running that perfect open house, before we talk about that, we have to tell you about the typical open house. So the typical open house, unfortunately, most agents, when they walk in, what they do is they drive up. If the open house starts at 1, they'll drive up at about 12:30. They'll put about 4 signs out. Then they'll walk in, they'll sit down, and they'll wait. And then once nobody comes through the property, so they'll sit there for 2 hours, no one comes through, maybe 1 or 2 people that randomly saw that there was an open house on. Then they'll leave, and then typically they'll complain that nobody came to the open house. But that's because, realistically speaking, they're not running it the best potential way possible. So what we're going to talk about today is running that open house perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. Brandon couldn't have said it any better. Those 2 people who did come through are probably your neighbors as well. It's not really serious people, just people who are probably looking to sell their homes themselves, and they're looking at your house more as a comparable rather than a property to purchase down the line. So although there were people who came through technically, there's no actual viable lead from it, so it wasn't even the best. But yeah, so if you're looking to run an open house property properly for your property, one of the important things to do is have signage, right? Like Brandon said, he usually puts out 3-4 signs, maybe right at the end of the street, just to let people know if they're driving by. You want someone to come by, hit up all the major intersections, so anyone driving by through the community, through the neighborhoods, is going to see these signs, turn around, make that left turn out of the blue, and decide to drop by your house to see what's going on and see what the house is about.
And with that signage, like Tim said, we might put 3 or 4 signs out at the end of the street, but you're also putting 3 or 4 signs out at the other end of the street. And then you're putting 3 or 4 signs out at the main intersections on either side. And really the idea is you want to be putting out 20, 30 signs to direct towards the house, not 2 or 3. So really when we're talking signage, it's all about as much as you can get out there and get in front of people's faces to direct them to yours. And also strategically putting them where close to other open houses so that you can direct those people to your house as well. Outside of signage, you also want to make sure if you're running your open house, look at it realistically. Open houses that are the busiest in areas are the ones that are run in the average price point of that area. So when we say that, we mean if your home's close to what the average is for your area, then you're going to get a lot of traffic through your door. If it's not close to that average price point, then you're probably not going to get as much. However, it doesn't mean it's a bad idea to run one. It just means don't expect a ton of people to come through if that's what you're doing and you're just putting it through based off of price.
Yeah, definitely. Another important thing that goes along with the price is the way you market this home. The average person coming through your house isn't someone who's represented by an agent, because typically those people are able to come for a showing and book it themselves. So the people you're having come through are just, the person who was driving down the street and happened to see the sign and drop by, or someone who is browsing for properties that are having open houses on the weekend, and they're specifically targeting those days to go out because they're unrepresented by anyone and they're just looking, to get some exposure to properties that they might be interested in.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Tim said it there. When you're running open houses and your agent's running an open house for you, it's more than just putting it on the MLS that there's an open house happening, and it's more than just putting out some signs. Signs are great. I get a lot of traffic from signs to our open houses, but you want to market them as well. You want to put it out. You can run a Facebook ad in that area for the entire week leading up to the open house, saying, "Hey, come on down. There's an open house running from 12 to 3. There's going to be some prizes or some food, whatever it happens to be, and direct people to come to the open house." Because a lot of those neighbors, even though they might be coming to your open house, they might know people who are looking to buy in their area, whether it's family, friends, or coworkers. So make sure you're targeting that area, but also make sure you're targeting your community using Facebook as well and other ad platforms, so that they know an open house is happening then and there, so you can drive that traffic to it. An open house is more than just that day. It's about everything you do the week leading up to that day.
Yeah, exactly. Having your agent go out that week before, door knock the community, right? Let them know, this Saturday between 1 and 3 p.m. we're going to be holding an open house at whatever the address is. Letting everyone in the community know that and making sure they drop by, even if it's just for a few minutes for the food. Just having them come by, because chances are they probably know someone who might be interested in moving to the community because they've got a good referral from that friend who knows the community well and they love it themselves.
Mm-hmm. And the last couple of things that we want to talk about are making sure that, one, your agent's making that a memorable experience. So on top of, yes, you want to have some food there, and I'm not talking just Timbits. Like, generally speaking, when we do our open houses, we have a very close friend of ours who does the catering. And so we have like these little cheesecake bites and charcuterie boards and just stuff that's actually good food and keeps people sitting there eating the food so you can talk to them about the property. And the other part of making it memorable as well is doing stuff like having a brochure for the property. So your agent should have a brochure for the property to make sure that you're showcasing it great for when they leave the house. Because if they're going to 3 or 4 other open houses and they have an amazing brochure to remember yours by, but the other ones don't do anything, I guarantee you they'll be remembering yours the best. And that's what you want. Outside of that, the very last thing I'll say is that you want to make sure that your agent's following up with those leads, because all those people that come through the house, although a lot of them are potential sellers from the area, it's also a lot of potential buyers who might not even be represented yet. So make sure they're following up those leads, because those are people that they came to your house for a reason. They might very well be interested in buying it. So just call and ask, because maybe it's just 1 or 2 things that they went, oh, well, I'm not sure about this, that an agent can help answer and might end up with a sale for you. So make sure your agent's running some amazing open houses that way.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to listen today, guys. Be sure to like and comment below. If you have any questions, be sure to reach out, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our Facebook for more great content like this, and a variety of other posts to keep you engaged. Thanks, guys.
Take care.